This is the Yongnuo 50mm f1.8 for the Fuji X system, and today I will try to answer the question, is it worth it? Yongnuo just sent me their 50mm f1.8 lens for review, and before getting into the details I need to clarify that they are not sponsoring this video, thus giving me the freedom to give you an unbiased opinion about this lens. Designed exclusively for Fuji X Mount, this lens functions as a short telephoto lens with a full frame equivalent of 75mm f2.8 when attached to a cropped Fuji sensor. This lens showcases a metal sturdy construction coupled with a nice and sleek functional design, well worth of a like on this video. You can find it and hit it right below. A notable feature is the rubber ring on top, which serves a dual purpose. In mode 1 it adjusts the lens aperture, while in mode 2 it manages focus in manual focus mode. A charming addition is the small screen displaying the set aperture. The aperture ranges from f1.8 all the way to f16, and although the ring feels smooth during adjustment, the lens has specific and tactile f-stops. Moving on to other features, this lens comes with weather sealing, although I haven't really tested it in rain yet. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell if you want to see how it performs in adverse weather conditions in future videos. Moreover, the lens is equipped with a USB-C port for easy firmware updates. The package includes a large lens hood beneficial for shooting against the sun, and the lens has a 78mm filter thread for mounted filters. Notably, there is no optical image stabilization system included. In conclusion, the lens stands out for its impressive construction. Kudos to Yongnuo. Okay, the build quality is really good, but what about the image quality? The image quality is generally really good, and although the f1.8 on a cropped sensor is not the best for low light photography, I can say that it performs well both when you're shooting indoors and during nighttime photography. Testing it on the Fuji X-T5, I noticed pretty good sharpness both at the center and the sides when shooting wide open, although occasional softness may be present on the sides of the photos, possibly attributed to some chromatic aberration, a common feature of this lens regardless of the aperture. At this wider aperture there is also noticeable vignetting. As expected by 50mm lens, only minimal distortion is observed. As we progress to apertures of f4 and f5.6, there is a significant improvement in sharpness, contrast and a reduction in chromatic aberration. This persists all the way up to f11, however at f16 sharpness takes a significant hit due to diffraction. Even when faced with very bright light conditions, the lens demonstrates really good performance with only minimal flaring when you're shooting directly against the sun. When acquiring a lens like this, one of the primary allures is the bokeh. So how does this lens perform in delivering the wanted bokeh? Truth is that it stands out as an excellent selling point here. The 50mm focal length in combination with the aperture of f1.8, even on a cropped sensor, and the close focus distance of about 40 to 50 centimeters give a great bokeh performance. The bokeh is circular, it's smooth, and it's undeniably pleasing, giving this extra magic effect you are looking for in this kind of photographs. Now, turning our attention to focusing, let's see how well this lens performs in that regard. The autofocus of this lens was surprisingly really good. I found it to be quick and accurate during my street photography session, so it might be a lofty claim, but I think this lens has one of the best autofocus performances I've seen so far on a lens on the Fuji X system. Additionally, the autofocus was silent and I didn't find that it was making any discernible motor noises during my photography sessions, and when I was shooting in manual mode also the ring was quite smooth and accurate as well. So overall I can say that this lens has a pretty good autofocus. I have said a lot of positive things about this lens so far and I have enjoyed shooting with it. However, I think there are a few areas here and there that could use some improvement. Continuing about the autofocus, I would say that this lens performed well when trying to focus in short distances like 40 to 50 centimeters. However, in some cases I found myself wanting to go even closer to my subject. So depending on your style of shooting and the type of photographs you want to create, this might be an issue. Going back to the build quality of the lens, although it has a nice build quality, this lens is a bit heavy. It weighs around 387 grams, and this in combination with the Fuji X-T5 make it a sizable kit that might be a bit hard to carry with you for extended periods of time. The larger size of the lens also contributes to a sizable rubber ring, which combined with its softness led me to accidentally change the aperture I had already set, resulting in wrongly exposed images. A smaller ring with a lock mechanism would greatly enhance the everyday usability. Comparing this lens directly with one of my all-time favorite lenses, the Fuji 50mm f2, I can say that it holds its ground impressively. Although it does not boast the same appeal as the Fuji 50mm f2, it makes up for it with its excellent build quality and its undeniable performance. The image quality is top-notch, justifying the Pro in its name. Comparing between the Fuji and the Yongnuo, I can also say that the image quality is quite comparable, with the Yongnuo taking the lead in low light situation. With its slightly wider aperture of f1.8, it performs a little better in low light and also it gives a better bokeh. Additionally, the autofocus performance on the Yongnuo is truly commendable, possibly even surpassing that of the Fuji lens. Compared to the more expensive 50mm f2 lens, which comes at around £400 here in the UK or approximately $500 in the US, the Yongnuo stands as a more affordable option that at the moment of filming this video costs about $265 on the company's website. You will find the link for the lens down in the description. It is not an affiliated link, it's just for your own interest. So who is this lens for? I would say that this lens caters to distinct groups of people. It's for those that are in need and are looking for an affordable 50mm lens for portrait photography, and also for those that want to do a certain style of street photography. Its design, its build reminds me a lot of the Sony 85mm f1.8, the bona fide portrait photography lens, and indeed the feel of the Yongnuo 50mm f1.8 is that of a portrait lens. However, it also proves as a versatile lens for certain types of street photography like street portraiture and more dynamic street scenes. Also, this is a great option for people that are just starting out and they're looking for an affordable 50mm lens instead of other more expensive options in order to leave some money for a nice camera as well. So in the question whether this is a worthwhile lens and whether I would recommend it, my answer is yes to both. That was all for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I will see you on the streets. Bye bye.